Hi and welcome. Hey, today we're going to talk about wprocket settings for 2021. If you don't know much about wprocket, it's basically a caching plugin. So I'll talk more about that soon. But over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you 5 top tips, especially very useful for affiliate marketers, about how to set up wprocket to get the most out of it. So you ready? Let's do it. Yay! So just before we get started on tip number 1, if you haven't already got wprocket, you can get it by going to getus.at/wprocket. And what that'll allow you to do is purchase it. It's a premium plugin, so you have to purchase it, but it's very much worth the money. I put it on about over 200 sites myself. It's one of the easiest, fastest, simplest, and most dependable, basically, caching plugin that I've used. So you can come onto this page here and click on Buy Rocket now. Right, tip number 1. So here we are in the dashboard. We're going to scroll down, and tip number 1 is something that you might not see that easily, but it's really good for affiliate marketers. The reason being is that you might have multiple sites being an affiliate marketer, and that allows you to this tip's going to allow you to speed things up and make your life easier. So scroll down, go into Tools, and there we go. We can export the settings. How cool is it? And import them. So you can set it up on one site, and usually the settings are similar on all your sites, and then basically import it in all your other sites. Download settings, and away it goes down the bottom here, and it downloads a JSON file. How cool is that? Now, of course, import is just the opposite here. So how cool? Great. Tip number 1. Woohoo! Okay, tip number 2. Yay! This is to do with Cloudflare CDN. And basically, Cloudflare helps speed your site up. It's a third-party tool. It's not connected with WordPress. It's not connected with wprocket. But wprocket can manage the settings. Come in here, click on Cloudflare, scroll down the bottom, and you'll see these settings down here. This one here is a very useful setting, optimal settings. Let wprocket do the settings for you. Cloudflare basically tries to do the best it can, but it doesn't know that you've got other tools like wprocket. So let wprocket do the heavy lifting here for you, because Cloudflare will load some JavaScript, and it actually does tend to slow the site down, and it can conflict with wprocket. So leave it optimal setting, then Cloudflare will be set up the best way possible for wprocket. So tip number 3 is basically about Google Analytics and also about Facebook Pixel. These two can actually basically add extra code on your site and can slow things down. wprocket can manage these for you. So basically come down here, click on add-ons, and you'll see that basically it can actually make it more optimized for Google tracking. So here it's switched on. In this case, the Facebook Pixel, if you're using that, is switched off. Now, how do I know if to use the pixel or not? You might not know. You might be basically coming in behind somebody else and you don't know what's happening with the pixel. You can use this little tool here, Facebook Pixel Helper. I use that a lot of the time to see if there's a pixel on a site. And then if it is, I switch it on. So in this case, it's not on this site, so I'm going to leave it off. So that's tip number 3. Yoo-hoo! Tip number 4. We're pumping through here, guys. Yes. Database. Okay, you probably know about cleaning up the database. But what you might not understand is that it takes up server resources. And basically, it can potentially create a problem. It can potentially corrupt your database. Now, I've never had that happen. Never. But there's a risk. So if you do it daily, then there's more of a risk. And using up more server resources, your database doesn't get that cluttered that often. It takes a long time to clutter up a database. Basically, if you're posting a lot of posts, it gets cluttered up faster. But if you're only posting like 5 posts a week or 10 posts a month, then your database will very rarely get cluttered. There's nothing happening on the database. So make sure down here you set it to weekly at the minimum. If you're not doing much on the site, just set it to monthly. Why would you put all those resources into cleaning it all up and create a potential risk? Very, very small risk, as I tell you. But there is a potential risk when basically nothing's happening on your site. So at least never do it daily. Don't clean your database daily. Even in a heavily busy site, just don't do it. Weekly minimum, monthly is great too. So yay! So you're ready for number 5. We're cruising through today, and basically I hope you're getting value. So tip number 5 is a little unusual because it's basically read the documentation. Not many people want to read the documentation, but I tell you what, basically it's pretty good in here. If you click in here, docs.wprocket.me, you saw the link how to get in here. There's a lot of information. Specifically if you're having problems. Occasionally you have problems like with lazy loading. Disable and adjust, anchor. So if you're having some of these issues, everybody else has had these problems too, and they've got very, very, very good documentation. So it gives you specific things, and they have some extra plugins that you can add on top to solve these problems. And it gives you a really clear idea to go to the wprocket help desk if you do need to, because you've gone through this and it gets you better questions that you can ask. It gives you better questions to ask. So that's it, 5 tips, woohoo, we've done it. So basically, if you want to learn more about wprocket settings, check out this video now. This is about the cache settings specifically. It's only 2 or 3 minutes long, I think. And basically, it will help you understand the specific settings for the caching, which is a core part of wprocket. It's one of its main elements that you really need to understand. So check out this video now about what the best settings are for 2021 for wprocket for caching.